The book of 1 Kings is a history of prophecy, which contrasts among those kings of Israel or Judah who obeyed and those who disobeyed God. The book describes the rule of Solomon as the last king of the united kingdom of Israel, and then describes the split of the kingdom after his death. David had been a great king. As his life was drawing to a close, there were those who were trying to position themselves to become the king. Only some quick thinking by the prophet Nathan and Solomon's mother Bath-sheba prevented Adonijah from stealing the throne from Solomon, the rightful king. David instructed the prophet Nathan to appoint Solomon as king, and the people rallied behind Solomon in a grand processional to the royal throne. Before dying, David charges Solomon to remain faithful to God, and Solomon has Adonijah executed along with the rest of his enemies, and then gets to work trying to unite a kingdom and build an empire. At this point in our lesson, Solomon is doing that which David was not allowed to do, and that is to build a temple. With everything in place at the temple, it is ready to become the home of the Ark of the Covenant, which holds the 2 stone tablets upon which the 10 Commandments are written. Now, let's put this in historic context. This united Israel is a fragile union. Solomon is trying to do what he needs to do to unite his nation. And so he holds a feast for all of Israel at the temple in celebration of its completion and in celebration of its symbolic meaning to the people. Solomon intends that this event be spectacular. The opening ceremony was to be on par with the modern-day Olympic opening ceremony. Solomon realizes the importance of unifying his people in an effort to keep these disparate tribes unified behind a common national symbol and to share common values. Solomon choreographs the timing to inspire a sense of history and a sense of unity among the people. Now, why do I say this? Well, the formal inauguration of this national place of worship took place 11 months after the completion of the edifice. The event was likely delayed because Solomon had chosen the most fitting opportunity for people to assemble in Jerusalem. The next year was a Jubilee year, and Solomon set this national ceremony a few days before the Feast of Tabernacles. That feast is an annual feast instituted to remember that Israel dwelled in tents, and as the tent tabernacle was to be superseded by the temple, the Feast of Tabernacles was most appropriate. Now, this is Old Testament, so animal sacrifices were expected and they were made. There were so many people that they could not count them all. The festival lasted 7 days, and people came from far and wide, from Bath-sheba to Egypt, to participate in this ceremony. Now, there was a great processional. The lead was taken by the king and the elders of the people. Then came the priests bearing the Ark of the Covenant and the old Mosaic tabernacle which had been brought from Gibeon. Lastly, the Levites followed, carrying vessels and ointments which had been in the old tabernacle. Now, this order was a slight deviation from the order of the march that was established in the wilderness, but the spirit of the processional was still there and duly observed. The ark was deposited in the most holy place under the wings of the cherubim. Now, that's not the Mosaic cherubim. Those were firmly attached to the ark. These are cherubim that were made by Solomon, which are far larger and more expansive. Now, when the crowd came back out of the temple, a cloud filled the house of the Lord, for the glory of the Lord was filling his house. The cloud was a visible symbol of the divine presence of God and the acceptance of the temple as God's tabernacle. The dense, dark cloud struck the priest in the same way that cloud had struck Moses when he saw it, with terror, so much so that they could not remain. With this demonstration, the temple has become a place of divine glory where God has revealed himself to the people. Solomon speaks to God, presenting the temple to him, saying, I have built you an exalted house, a place for you to dwell forever. Solomon then turns to the gathering of Israel, who are now all standing, and Solomon gives a short speech. He says, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who has kept the promise he made to my father David. In essence, Solomon is assuring the priests and the people that the cloud, instead of being an ominous sign, is a token of approval by God. He is unifying his nation under the one force that can unify different people, and that is God. That's the lesson for this week. Have a great week. Bye.